Welcome back to Shorts Behind the Sports. We are here with Kayla Staquet, who competed in college gymnastics at SUNY Brockport. Kayla, please tell us a little bit about yourself.
Hi, my name is Kayla. It's nice to meet you all. Thank you for having me. I've been here at Eastern Connecticut State as a GA athletic trainer for 1 year now. I'm starting my second year. I'm very excited. I completed my Bachelor's of Science in Athletic Training at SUNY Brockport, as Tori said, and I had a great time there learning as an athletic trainer student, as well as participating on the college gymnastics team for Brockport.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Kayla. So, getting into the background, how long were you a gymnast?
I've been a gymnast for 15 years.
Wow.
Before I retired, yes.
Wow, okay.
Mm-hmm.
And tell us how it was being a college gymnast and kind of your progression, I guess, to college.
Mm-hmm. So, getting recruited and making the decision to go to SUNY Brockport and compete for the gymnastics team was honestly very easy. You know, when I met with coaches, they were all great, but Coach John Feeney at SUNY Brockport at the time, he is now retired, but I honestly just felt so at home with him. I felt cared for with him. It felt like when I did my interview and my recruitment trip with him, he didn't really care what skills I could bring to the team. He cared about what kind of person I was. And he cared about, you know, what my background was, what I wanted to do with my life. He cared about me as a person, not just an athlete on his roster. And that's not a feeling that I've gotten at any other school. They were all great schools, but it just struck a chord in me, and I couldn't stop thinking about that recruitment trip after I came home, and I was like, I have to go there, you know?
Right.
It's like that man has the power to change many lives, and I would love to see it. And I was absolutely right. He was an amazing coach, an amazing mentor, an amazing leader, and I've never seen anything like it.
That's great. Definitely a great trait to have in a coach, and definitely what you're looking for going into
Absolutely.
college, like athletics. So I guess was SUNY Brockport Division II?
It's Division
correct?
III.
Division III.
Mm-hmm.
So just tell us about the experience with being a Division III gymnast. Like, what was your kind of day in the life, like training, and just kind of walk us through that.
Yep. So we were able to schedule all of our classes to be in the mornings. So we would have class probably from 8 to 12 or 1, and then go get some lunch, and then go get ready for practice. We practice by 2. I have practice from 2 to 6, so about a 4-hour practice, but it's structured a lot different than it was in club when I was in high school. It was more laid back because you could really focus on the event that you wanted to compete for Coach Feeney and for SUNY Brockport, and there wasn't as much pressure. It really felt like a very easygoing environment where it was very supportive. I absolutely loved the team, loved all the girls. They were absolutely amazing, very welcoming. It was just a great environment, and I think it's a byproduct of having great leaders. First and foremost, the coach, and then the captains who, you know, took freshmen under their wings and kind of showed them, you know, this is how we are as a team, and this is, you know, the greatest part about being in D3 is that there's no pressure. There's no scholarships. There's no obligations here. We're here because we love it. That's why I love D3.
Yeah.
I love that we can be here because we have a passion for the sport, first and foremost. You know?
For
it's
sure.
just awesome.
Totally agree. Yeah, absolutely. And kind of going off of that, I know you've mentioned a couple of great things about the program, but what was your overall favorite part of being a college gymnast?
Definitely the camaraderie. So we would go and compete in either tri-meets or just against one other team, or when we got to playoffs at the end of the season, or, you know, postseason. The environment was insane. It was incredibly loud, but it was incredibly supportive. All of these girls are screaming for someone to stick their skill and lose their minds when they do, and it is incredibly amazing to see, you know, that kind of support. And it's even better because gymnastics is a smaller world, more smaller of a community than I would say other sports are, so we're all very supportive of each other. I've noticed many times that when a team would finish on their event and they'd start walking over to the next event and that team necessarily wasn't done yet, the girls would then ask, what's her name, the next one that's competing? And they would cheer for her. They would cheer when she'd land her skills. They'd cheer when she was done. You'd get high fives as you walked off the floor, the event, whatever you were on. It didn't matter what team you were on. That's the greatest thing about D3, the greatest thing about the community is that we're all so supportive of each other in landing these skills, in accomplishing these routines, in being confident in ourselves. And, the score is the score at the end of the day. The rankings are the rankings, but we all were there because we loved it. And that was just my favorite part.
That's amazing.
Right?
That is just the dream atmosphere that athletes just want in their environment, and that's amazing, and like a blessing that you've had that, and
Absolutely.
That's definitely
You could feel the love in the room.
I'm sure. Yeah.
I was in awe.
Oh, that's so amazing to hear. That
Right?
It really is. Yeah, absolutely. And I guess you can feel free to boast, but what are your any accolades that you had or favorite kind of special moments in your career as a gymnast, but mainly in college? Just feel free to just list everything.
Yeah. So
individual and team.
I, at one competition, did receive a Admirable Character Award for my composure, leaving the floor after a mistake. The judges were, very impressed with how composed I was able to keep myself, and that's, I think one of the greatest things about gymnastics is that it teaches you how to hold your head high, hold your shoulders back, even if you made a mistake or something, you can still walk away from it as if it was the best routine you ever did.
Mm-hmm.
And that was one of the things that my coach really taught me, and it was amazing. And I also won one of the team awards for loudest cheerleader, which I think is, for me, one of the best things, because I love to cheer for people. I know I have to keep it a little more professional while I'm here at Eastern, but I love cheering for you guys. It's just one of the greatest things because, one of the mottos that I like to live by is people may not remember your name or what you did for them, but they will remember how you made them feel.
Absolutely.
So I love to make sure that I leave people feeling like they were supported, they were encouraged, that they were cheered for, and I saw the best in them.
Amazing. That's amazing. Yeah.
Thank you.
And I guess elaborating on that, so how has what you learned in gymnastics tied into you as an individual, and then I guess you and your career now here at Eastern and beyond?
Yep, so I think one of the things I love about gymnastics is it really married the artistry and the performance aspect with the power and the skill and the strength that you see in a lot of other sports. So it's really a very interesting mix as to how it built the athletes and how it built the person. So I like to make sure that, how I hold myself, how I appear is very composed and well put together and everything, but at the same time I'm capable and I know that I'm confident in what I'm doing and that I can instill that confidence in the athletes that I work with, and that whether it's an injury rehab or cheering for them on the sideline, I can support them no matter what. And I think that's one of the greatest things I've learned from gymnastics is the determination and the person that's made me.
Yeah, I love to hear that. It's definitely such a great experience to have under your belt going into the athletic environment as a trainer here and just beyond. So
Absolutely.
Yeah. And I guess kind of segueing from that, digressing a bit, but in terms of, we know that as a gymnast you've got to be mentally strong and physically strong. So can you just kind of explain what your training kind of was physically, and for gymnastics, how did you train for meets and whatnot with that?
So we had a meet probably every 2 weeks. So we would spend a lot of time on technique and skill building and skill. What's the word I'm looking for? Consistency early on. And then once we have that kind of solidified, we'd put it into routines and then perfect the routines and make sure they're polished, they look nice, they flow nicely, and that you're confident hitting the skills and going into the skills. And so it probably looked about 1 week was very technical, very detailed, and then the second week was a lot more of the reps and a lot more of the pressure, However, that's one of the greatest things also about gymnastics, that it teaches you to be composed under pressure, which is, great in any circumstance.
Mm-hmm.
So we would do a lot of routines, a lot of repetitions leading up to the meet, and then the night before, it's just a very calm atmosphere. It is, one routine you're confident in, you've put the training in, you're, just smoothing out the edges, and we're ready to go and, show off what we can do.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. And going off that, I know obviously, like you said, it takes so much work to build these skills and retain them and just kind of perfect everything, and your coaches are definitely play a role in that, and you had a